Welcome, folks. Another morning, live, alive, with Chassidus. Mystical offerings. What do you got to offer? The Rebbe has mystical offerings for us. Baruch atah Adonai, Chelam shahakol nidbareh. Chaim, Achaim. Okay. So we're talking about two aspects in the metaphor of water that relate to Torah. Water comes down from the top of the mountain, right, to the bottom. And meaning Torah comes from above in the spiritual, the godly realm. And through coming down here, it's actually revealed that its ultimate source is not godly or spiritual, actually, is actually that it's rooted in the core essence of God. Right. In other words, when we're studying, we could perceive Torah as a spiritual thing, divine wisdom. It's all true. It's much more. But down here, we perceive actually that it's rooted, the fact that it is down here, it's rooted in core essence of God. And this is expressed specifically through halacha. It's because halacha, meaning the adjudication of Jewish law, which, by the way, is what we learned last night in our class, Jewish law, in preparing for Pesach. Um, and why is halacha? Because halacha is not dealing, the adjudication of law is not dealing with the spiritual realm of Jewish teachings. It's not dealing with philosophical, not with emotional, or intellectual. It's dealing with what you got to do. Doing is the lowest sort of thing that a person can do. Not the lowest in value, but the lowest um, in what it takes a person, in engagement and to do, right? Thinking straight, having your emotions intact. Those are much harder things. But action, right? Action engages the physical world. Thought engages the spiritual or abstract world. The physical, right? So halacha engages the physical world. In other words, do this, don't do that. Do this with this thing and don't do that with that thing. As we learned a lot of, how to kosher for Pesach. Right. We learned, about selling chametz. We learned about, you know, search for the chametz. Those are all action-oriented things that we got to do that halacha speaks about, right? He didn't speak about the spiritual dimension, the meaning of chametz. That chametz, represents ego, and that's all spiritual, nice stuff that we can deal with it on an emotional level, right? So that's what halacha. And so it comes down to the in Torah itself. Halacha is, in that respect, the lowest, but is then rooted in the highest, in Atzmos. So that's in Torah itself, but also the Torah. Who will Torah be revealed to? Especially when it comes to halacha. Halacha coming to the lowest place, right? As water comes down, that's the metaphor of water, comes down to the lowest place. So it'll also come to a person who is also in the lowest place, meaning humble. That's the person who's going to be able to be the conduit for Torah, not to someone who's so smart and knows he's so smart, right? Not the person who's so smart and knows he's so smart. One who's so smart and doesn't feel their smartness, right? That bittul, that shiftless, that's sense of self-effacement. And that's why the halacha in the debate between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel goes according to Hillel, as the Talmud tells us, because they were humble. Because of that humility, just like, water goes to the lowest place, so Torah goes to the lowest place in halacha, in Torah teachings that reveals the core essence of God. And in the person who's in the lowest place, meaning humble. According to this, then we can understand also, remember, this discourse is related to the second day of Nisan, which is the day that the Rebbe Rashab passed away. So the second day of Nisan, the sacrifices were brought. First day of Nisan is what we're learning in Chumash a lot, right? The inauguration, Parsha Shmini, it's the inauguration. It's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And on that day, Nachshon, from the tribe of Yehuda, brought the offerings on behalf of his tribe. The second day was Yisachar. He brought on behalf of his tribe, which we asked the question, why? He, in importance, he's not the second person. There would be Levi, there would be Yosef, Reuben, the firstborn, Why is Yisachar coming second? Explain, because they were the Torah learners. And it was through them that they're the ones who suggested that there should bring offerings from each tribe and through the first 12 days of inauguration. Well, from the first day of inauguration through 12 days in Nisan. It was their idea. So the Rebbe explains, how was it they got that idea, which was then accepted, part of the Torah. It's actually, Parshas Naso is the longest Torah portion because each day the exact same offering was given and it's repeated each day, even though it's really basically the same thing, right? It's because of their They were the Torah learners. They're the ones who, but they had a bittul in their learning. They had a self-effacement in their learning that then allowed them to come to the truth. And that's why they come only second. It's their idea. Well, they should come first. No, self-effacement. Who embodies self-effacement? Yehuda. Yehuda comes from the word haida'ah, acknowledgement. Acknowledgement, right? Yehuda acknowledged when he was wrong, could have, with Tamar, could have had her killed, but he knew he was wrong. He acknowledged. So Yehuda, coming from the word haidah, acknowledgement, thanksgiving from acknowledgement. You are thanks. You give thanks, right? So they're an embodiment of that. So Yisachar, even though it's his idea, so he should, run with it, and he should have been giving on the first day of the inauguration day. No, because of his humility, he allows Yehuda. I don't know, allows is the right word, but Yehuda goes first. Torah is teaching us this, right? And this is the way it came out. I don't think it was like, okay, I'm going to let you, no, it wasn't that way. It just, this is what it was, right? And we see that also. The halacha is according to Beis Hillel, but if you learn Torah, whose opinion comes first? Beis Shammai's opinion. The one that's not the final adjudication. I mean, Beis Shammai is the words of truth. It's the words of Elokim, right? Of Elokim. Yeah, Gvura. I don't know if it's not particularly Gvura in this sense over here, right? In this context, it's not the idea of Gvura, it's the idea of plurality, right? Shtaisa is more of that. Elokim is a plural name, right? Meaning there's many opinions, and all of them are the words of Elohim, meaning God, words of God, right? But a lower aspect of God where there is an incorporation of a plurality, right? Halacha is with Havaya, which is one path, right? So Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel rather, right? The teachings of Beis Shammai come first. Why? Because of the humility. Again, it doesn't mean, okay, Beis Hill said, okay, you guys go, your opinion go first. No, it's representing that. That's what it's embodying that idea. Right. So when we learn Torah, right? So accordingly, then we can understand that because of their knowledge in Torah, it brought them to the idea of bringing sacrifices, offerings, right? What are offerings? A refinement and a sustaining of the world, as we explained. That's what the idea of offerings are. So in times of Holy Temple, meaning the offerings on the altar, and through engagement, and that came about because of their engagement in the study of Torah with bittul, self-effacement, right? They were able to reach to the core essence of Torah, the way it's rooted in the core essence of God. Right? Therefore, it was felt by them that the entire purpose of the Torah is to fulfill the intent of God, of the core essence of God. And what does the core essence of God want? A dwelling place in this little world. That's what he wants. Now, Hmm. Okay, coming to a new idea here to bring a conclusion to the mimer. I think we're going to do that tomorrow. And we're going to tie everything in. Vayikra al Moshe. He called to Moshe. So one of the questions is, who's calling? It's God. Well, why doesn't it say who? Right? That he called an endearment. So is the endearment a preface to the command, which is then Vayidaber Hashem, that Hashem spoke to him? It's calling an endearment, like you call someone over, and then you tell them what the command or what needs to be done. So it's only a preface, or is it a value in and of itself? Question. Right. Adam, person, the highest level of what's called a person, right? Singular, being unified in one based on the soul. Kiyakriv, when they want to come close and bring a korban, an offering, right? So we're going to bring out the whole thing of the difference between Yikra Bayidaber, Yikra being without a name of God, not mentioning who, and very powerful. Just in a few words, but carries so much. But that's going to be tomorrow. In the meantime, I just want to remind everybody that we're working on our YouTube station to bring us to a position where there will be monetization. So whoever can go onto YouTube and watch instead of a Facebook, that would be helpful. And also for all the other classes, to do it on YouTube, that would be great if you could. If it's most important thing is we're learning together. That's the most important. If it's possible, wonderful. If not, not. Thank you. All right, we'll see you soon by Chumash and Rashi. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Rabbi.